Forward. All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Forge Your Life podcast with your host, Richard Fu from The Ultimate Man. And today I have an amazing German friend on board here. He is the Chief Transformational Architect. He is the founder of the Global Leadership Foundry. He's had over 20 years of experience helping huge corporations transform themselves into the digital age. He is the advocate for transformational leadership, and he's been an entrepreneur and an intrapreneur, guys. He is phenomenal. He's all about valuing best practices, but really creating future practices for you, your business, and your corporation that you're going to be building. So, guys, I want you to say welcome to Markus Keiper. Markus, good to have you on, man.
Oh, thanks, Rich. Good to be on your show.
Welcome, man. Welcome. Honor to have you in here, man. And so, Markus, for the people who are watching or listening, could you share a bit about what you're doing, how you got to where you're at, right? And just a bit more about yourself, man.
Sure, absolutely, Rich. And hello to everyone here on the show. I'm absolutely delighted to be on your show, Rich. Thanks for grabbing me, literally. Look, I'm as you said, I'm a German, but I've spent the better of the last 14 years here in Asia Pacific. I used to live in Australia for 6 years because I'm married to an Aussie, believe it or not. Mm-hmm. So I had the absolute blast and pleasure to live in Sydney and Melbourne. We still have our house over there. I have two beautiful, wonderful teenagers. They are absolute native digitals. And I came to this part of the world basically in 2002 after our daughter was born. After a super enriched career at Mercedes-Benz, a brand many people aspire and I still love dearly. But I simply decided, look, there is more to life than being just in an MNC for the rest of my life. And I basically moved to Australia, started from scratch. From there, I moved to India. From there, I moved to Singapore, and here I am.
Wow, man. Wow. And so, Markus, I know you and your business at the moment, what you do is you help a lot of people, especially like people in leadership positions, really step away from the old leadership styles and actually transform and actually help them guide themselves and also their companies and corporations into the transformational era. Could you talk more about that, man, and just paint that picture for people listening here and watching?
Yeah, absolutely. And what I would like you to take away from this today is simply that your career will look completely different than my career. Mm-hmm. And I'm only 48 years of age. But if you're in your 20s or in your 30s, your career might look differently. So basically, if I look back at my career, I started with an MBA, as many of you did. I graduated. I went to a student organization called ISEC and led this for 2 years globally as well. Then became a graduate, Rich, in Mercedes-Benz. Was one out of 10,000 applicants to be selected in a batch of 100, and all of that was in 1996. Mm-hmm. Had a beautiful career in Mercedes-Benz. Climbed the ladder. Got my car. Yes, I was Mercedes. Yeah, beautiful. That was when the SLK was launched. Being just married to my Australian Sri Lankan wife, we had a great time. But then came the first transformation for me. It was really a decisive moment where I decided, look, just staying in a blue chip company and following the ladder until I retire is not my thing. And they had a major transformation happening at the time with the A-Class, which many of you only know now as a pretty nice looking car. When they launched the A-Class, they had a lot of issues. Mm-hmm. And I moved to Australia. I started from scratch. I came into in an Australian multinational, but distributorship for Australia Pacific, and I invented marketing communications for them because they were basically distributing stuff, high-tech stuff, engines and so on, but they didn't communicate with customers. They didn't have things. So then I moved to India and became the business development manager for this company in India, and again started from scratch. And this is one point I would like you to take away from this call. You've got to be mobile nowadays. There is no local market for you anymore. I mean, most of you are in LinkedIn, right? And LinkedIn looks at you as a walking asset. You're a walking asset. Which street in the world you walk doesn't matter, right? So after 1 year in Delhi and traveling the whole country, I was asked to move to Singapore, which was fantastic, and look after the whole region and the world for marketing and branding. And then after a while, I was headhunted, which is also beautiful for such an esteemed brand like Rolls-Royce.
Yeah.
And when I joined Rolls-Royce, I thought, man, that's it. I was
done. Dream achieved.
And I have to tell you the truth. It was not Rolls-Royce cars, because I entered the B2B business, which is the marine business and the air engine business. So I was on the marine side. I became chief marketing officer. I was responsible for the entire brand worldwide, for the marketing worldwide, communications worldwide, and customer and key account management worldwide. Awesome. So I thought, that's it. I'm 45. I can stay here for another 10 years and retire. No way. Lesson learned. There is no permanent job nowadays anymore. Right. No permanent job. And just as we speak today, on the 4th of February, Royal Shell announced that they will shed off 10,000 people in the next few months, because they have the biggest loss ever in the company history. So lesson number 2, even if you go with big brands and big companies, it is no safety net whatsoever. You still have to look after yourself. And we can talk a little bit about how I see the future of your careers and going ahead.
Yeah, I mean, and I love that story that you painted, is that you are the living, breathing, modern career man, right? I mean, like before you, like my dad, maybe even your dad, right, would go and work somewhere for like 10, 15, 20, 30 years. Oh, yeah. Right? Showing that loyalty that we all really, really cherish, when it comes to a relationship. But then we try and apply that to work, and then we feel like we get screwed over, right? We feel like we get screwed over. And then that is why it's so important that, what you're sharing here, Markus, is that you really got to look after yourself, because at the end of the day, these are corporations. They're just entities. They're not even people. They're not even living, right? Yeah. It's the people that make the company work. And then, you have to also look after yourself. And so what's the best ways for people who are listening or who are watching to actually start looking after themselves, looking after their personal brand? What should they be doing, man?
That's an awesome question, and I'm a coach nowadays. I started my own company a couple of months ago, and the whole mission of my company, Rich, is to forge leaders. And I know that this series is all about forging talents and forging the ultimate man. So forging talents out of your experiences, your skills, and your talents. And this is what you are all about. You're all about what you experience and what you learn from it. So let me try to make this a little bit clearer for you, because there are 7 steps I want you to take away. And Rich, we talked about that earlier, but actually I made it much more clearer for myself. How can I communicate that?
Yeah.
So step number 1 is you really have to be self-aware. Okay, are you self-aware? And what that means, Rich, is are you seeking yourself inside? Do you know where you're coming from? Do you know what motivates you? What is driving you? What are your beliefs? And what are your experiences in building your self-awareness? Meaning you have to expose yourself to the non-comfort zone. Learning happens in the non-comfort zone, okay? So when I moved out of Germany to Australia, I was way out of my comfort zone. Of course, Australia made it very easy for me to learn, but then I went to India, very different zone. Then I went to Singapore, very different. Then I went from one company to another, Rolls-Royce, very different. And within this company, I went through different roles and jobs.
Yeah.
So number one is you need to know where you're good, what you're good at, but you also need to know where you're not good at. And that only comes over time and if you expose yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. Number two is really your mindset, your mental agility. The careers of our parents and our grandfathers and grandparents was exactly how you describe it, Rich, and that was the advice I got as well. Find a job with a big company, stay there, be happy, right?
Yeah.
And if they send you from one location to another, you just accept that because at least you got a safety net and you're in a safe job.
Yeah.
What our parents are learning nowadays and really struggling with is that this does not exist anymore in this world. You know, I mean, you have huge companies being swallowed by another bigger company. You have a company like Yahoo, which was until recently was one of the amazing digital companies, and now it's a loss-making company. You know, so mental agility means, are you making fresh connections? Okay. What are your experiences for building your mental agility? And I'll give you an example. Are you a critical thinker? Are you comfortable with complexity? Are you examining problems carefully? And can you make this understandable for others? This is number two, mental agility.
Yep.
Do you want me to continue? I still got another 5.
Yeah, man. I'm enjoying this, man. I mean, we can't just stop it here, right? Halfway through.
Okay, so here's number 3. If you're ready for that, and you will love that, Rich, because you are all about it. It's people agility, people. Okay, so really, are you capable of bringing out the best in others? So it's not about you. We talked about that already in number 1 and number 2. So are you capable to bring out the best in others? Can you really inspire people to follow their genius, to bring in their talents in a very difficult situation? If you can do that, you become highly attractive for any employer in the world. Okay, so if you're good at that, you understand the value of being different. You don't look for the same people in a team. You actually look for very different personalities, maybe different cultures, different genders, and so on. So it's all about inclusivity. It's all about diversity. It's all about creativity. Okay. So that's number 3.
Yep.
Number 4 is change agility. And maybe you thought already we are talking about change. No, change agility is one aspect in its own right. Okay. So are you promoting new possibilities? Are you looking at new ways? And what are your experiences in building this change agility? So I give you an example. Do you like to experiment, for example? Can you deal with discomfort? Do you have a passion for ideas? And are you interested in continuous improvement? These are typical things for change agility.
Yep.
Makes sense?
Yep. What's number 5, man?
Number 5. Yeah, you're counting, still counting. Man. It is all about results. So when I talk to young people, they usually get very excited about the first 4 I mentioned, but they get a little bit dampened in their mood when I say, but you've got to deliver. Okay. So it's not about dreaming. It's not about following your dream and your aspirations only. It is actually about delivering results and delivering maybe KPIs or fulfilling what you were supposed to do on time and in full. Okay.
Got it.
And this will make you successful. So if you do these 5 now, you are on a pretty good path. But there are 2 more which really lead me to your generation and to the generation which will actually rule the world if they follow that. Do you want to hear them?
Yeah, man. Loving it. So let's do a quick recap. So the first one was self-aware, yeah?
Absolutely.
One is the mental agility, the mindset, right? Getting that sorted. The third one is people agility. So really, being able to connect with other people and bringing the best out of other people.
Right.
And then the fourth one you were talking about was about change agility. Am I comfortable with staying in the uncomfortable, the non-comfortable zone, right? And then the fifth one is results. I have to take actions. It's not good enough to just know. It's actually going in and actually taking action, delivering what we are setting ourselves up to, living up to that potential, right?
Awesome, Rich.
All right. And then what are these last two, man? For us to be superstars, to be ultimate.
Absolutely. In order to become ultimate, you need to do two more things. Mm-hmm. If you do these five now, the number 6 is best practice. You need to be an expert in something, or you need to be an expert in a couple of areas, okay? Mm-hmm. So expert means you got deep skills, deep experiences, deep talents, and you delivered results in this area, okay? And it can be any area. It can be accounting, it can be digital graphics, it can be supply chain management, it can be entrepreneurial, it can be non-governmental, whatsoever.
Yep.
But best practice, and this is where a lot of textbooks stop nowadays, and even your advisors out there might stop there. Best practice will not take you to the future, because best practice is only as good as yesterday.
Yeah.
So number 7 and the ultimate 7, the secret to success is what I call future practice.
Yeah.
Future practice is if you can combine the knowledge of best practice with your creativity and the creativity of people, for example, user experience, and new ideas, and create actually the point B where you yourself or your organization or your company wants to be in the future. All right? Mm-hmm. I'll give you an example. Take the airline industry. We all probably have been on a plane at least once, right?
Yep.
So if I ask you now, what is your entire customer experience from looking for your flight, then purchasing it, going to the airport, checking in, getting on the plane, and then the whole reverse until you arrive your point B, mm-hmm. You would admit that there is not one experience, right?
Yes.
You have to do everything in bits and pieces. Mm-hmm. Now think about the opportunities of any passenger in this world who actually experiences everything from one source, from point A, your home, mm-hmm. to point B, where you want to go. This metaphor basically of traveling. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. What always intrigues me is when we are sitting in a plane, and the plane is the metaphor for a company.
Yep.
If you are sitting in a plane, you are basically bound to this plane for how many hours? You can't go anywhere, right?
Right.
No one is taking advantage of this. So if anyone comes up with an idea how you can actually create one amazing experience for you as a client or a customer, the airlines, the airplane manufacturers, the travel agents, the airports, transportation, everyone will be disrupted. And this is future practice. Make sense?
Yeah. It's like really not taking, and if I could paint it in a different light here, Marcus, it's kind of like not taking what we have right now as is, and that's it. It's not improve anymore. It's to go further, to go innovate even more, like what we've seen with, as you know, those darlings of the internet, right? In the world, Airbnb and Uber, right? How they've really disrupted and actually innovated and made it like digital, right? All these analog services that we used to have. So would that be fair comparisons of companies that you would say are future practice?
You got it. And it will take the genius of the millennials like yourself and the generation X and Y to combine that with the baby boomers who are currently running these companies, right? Mm-hmm. And now we are talking about MNCs. It becomes even more complicated when you go into family-owned businesses where basically the owner runs the company and mm-hmm. passes it on to maybe his son or someone else. Yeah. If you can combine the strength of these generations it will be awesome. And then something will happen, you and I are doing as well. It's called reverse coaching, right? Mm-hmm. Where actually you coach me in something I simply am not good enough, because I identified this in my self-awareness. I'm not good enough and in digital, let's say. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So rather than paying a highly paid consultant from one of the big brands, I rather talk to you. And this is a new career opportunity. So let me just give you one final picture of how the career has changed in the last 20 years. If you were a candidate who has changed jobs every 6 to 12 months, going from LinkedIn to Google to Apple to Yahoo, mm-hmm. you would have been on the bottom of every CV stack in any company until 5 or 10 years ago. And any company would have looked at you like you're not consistent. This person doesn't know what he or she wants to achieve in life. You are not an expert in anything. Nowadays, you are on top of the CVs. Picture that.
Yeah.
Which is a massive, massive change of paradigm. Our parents, you mentioned your parents before, and the same for mine. Our parents would not subscribe to that. They would probably say, but you haven't learned anything in depth or whatever.
Yes.
But when we talk about this future practice, someone who has gained experiences from all of these top-notch companies who are really driving change becomes a high asset. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. All right. Mm-hmm. Compared to someone like me, maybe, or whatever age, who says, like you said earlier, Rich, I've been in my job for 15 years. I'm a super expert. Mm. I'm not saying that there's either or. We will need both. But to you guys listening to this today, 1/3 of the jobs you're looking at today as an option for yourself, they will disappear over the next 15 years. Mm. They will disappear. And 1/3 of the jobs you may actually take up in the next 15 years has not been created.
Interesting. So there's even more jobs that we just haven't even heard about. And I love the way you put it, Markus, is that, I mean, it's such an interesting perspective, because even now, like even when I was going through my career and still am, right? Yeah. Is that, we all think, oh, I've only been here for 12 months. It's not long enough. People are going to get scared of that. I love the picture frame that you wrap it around, is that, well, if you go from one company to another and they're just really good companies, it means you grab, and this is what I'm guessing is what you're saying, is I'm grabbing all the best pieces, all the most amazing things that they're doing from each of these companies, and then I come and bring it to this one company that I'm going to be working at. Then it's not like you're just getting one person, you're getting like 10 people, right, with different perspectives, all in that one person, because of what that person's experience. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely. And you expose yourself to so many new experiences and people, Rich, right? Because you expose yourself to different cultures, and probably many of us on the call and watching this video later on will say, I'm not here to work in one country or one city. I want to move around, and that is that. And in the future, we are talking about a generation which will live total freedom, where even your employer will change their culture and say, you know what, Rich, I want you to do this job, and I want you to do it from 9 to 5. Mm-hmm. But where from you are doing it, I don't mind. As a matter of fact, we are not even giving you a desk and a chair, because if you're sitting at home or in a cafe, it's cheaper for us. Okay. Yeah. So things will change. The entire architecture of buildings will change. Everything will be in a flow, and you will be among them creating this, which is totally awesome and exciting.
Oh man, it's amazing, Markus. I just want to keep talking about this, just to really dig into your brains, to really understand what should people do with their careers nowadays. But we got to start wrapping up the show. Right. And what I want to do is start throwing in some questions to you, some really relatively quick questions, right? What in the lightning round we call it. Right. So,
awesome.
So let's get started.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. So Markus, we'll start off with this one. This is our favorite, the time travel moment. And I'm sure you've heard of this one before. Is if you go back to a moment Marcus, where, I don't know, maybe 5, 10, 15 years ago, maybe even that's at the start of your career, yeah? And you could go back and you could look at little Marcus and tell him just one piece of advice from what you know now. What would you tell little Marcus?
Actually, it's a good time frame you chose, Rich. At the time, I told myself that life is too short to be put in a box. Okay. And I left this absolutely promising and awesome career at a company like Mercedes-Benz, where I was already in a senior level at a very early young age, and entered a journey to go, in this case, to Australia, but it could have been any other country. And I literally started from scratch again. Did it make me weaker? No, it made me stronger, because all the discomfort I experienced, all the hard work I had to put in, made me the leader I am today.
Awesome, man. Love it. Love it. And it's all that mental agility, isn't it, man?
You got it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Awesome. Awesome. And so on to the next question, man. So, Marcus, I'm sure you've read a lot of books, right, about career, about transformation, about change. I mean, of all the books that you've read, what would you recommend someone who really, wants to work on their career and create a career path that you've highlighted? What's one of the books that they should really read?
Oh man, that's a difficult one, because I've read a lot of books, and obviously online nowadays is a lot happening. I've heard that even yourself have become a successful author. So I actually don't want to pick. I don't want to pick any book, because it would not honor all the other books. Okay. However, I would recommend anyone watching this to look out for any thought leadership about future practice, next practice. What are the leaders of the future made of? Because the gurus of the past, some of us, we're looking at some of the things they have written in the 90s and 80s, which made them literally millionaires. And you're looking at that and think, really? It's unbelievable. How easy was that, Yeah. And nowadays you can write a book within a week, basically, and become an author as well. So my recommendation would go by topic. And the topic should be twofold. A, what is really discovering the genius in you?
Yep.
And the second topic I would like to give to you is what makes you the most uncomfortable.
Nice. I like that. And so moving into the next one then, Marcus, I'm sure you've received a lot of amazing advice in your life, but, what's the one piece of advice that you think always comes back into your head and that, you think that people listening just need to learn about?
Oh, that's another amazing question. You make me think about that. I think there are two pieces I would like to share with you guys. The first one is find someone who actually gives you this piece of advice where you trust, where you know that it comes from the heart of this person. He or she doesn't mean to set you on a certain direction or a certain course, but simply says, I believe this is something you should discover for yourself. Okay. And one person who definitely was a mentor like this was someone I met in Australia, a wonderful leader who had worked in very large companies himself before. He was senior to me. And he said, when you think about transformation and change management, it's all about the individual. There is no group, because groups don't change. It's the individual. You have to get into the mind of everyone in this group you want to change. And in order for them to follow you, you need to become irresistible. It's like dating. You have to stand out as the most attractive character in the whole group, and people will say, I simply trust you in where you want to take us.
Nice, man. Amazing, amazing, Marcus, man. Just blows my mind, man. Just blows my mind. So two more questions, Marcus. So this one's an interesting one. I mean, we talk about, true wealth, true freedom. I want to ask you a question here. Like, what is the true modern day career nowadays, man? How would you describe that to someone who's a millennial, who's, entrepreneurship's everywhere now, right? But then there's not, I believe this is true, is that not everyone's made for that, right? But then with that going on, I mean, what is the modern career now then? How would you describe that to someone in a sentence or two?
Well, I think the modern career is what you make the modern career, more than ever, because our parents would have given us the advice of become a lawyer, a doctor, a accountant, whatever, because they are all safe jobs. They will never go away. Well, take this piece of advice. They might not go away, but they might go viral or digital. So you might not even need an office for that anymore. So the modern career is indulge in all the opportunities you have, learn the things you need to learn wherever you are, but then create something which actually has not been there before. And if you find someone who is willing to pay for this value, for this added value, then you create your own career.
Awesome. Love it. And this is the last question here that we always finish up with, Marcus, is, so Marcus, if you had 30 seconds left to live, right?
Okay.
And you had to leave a message, pass on a message to your wife, to your kids, to your friends, to the colleagues, everyone at the Global Leadership Foundry and everyone else around the world. What's the one piece of advice you want to let them know and share with them that will transform their lives?
Another wonderful question, and what comes from the bottom of my heart and on top of my lips is, I would thank them for always pushing me out of my comfort zone.
Oh man, love it so much, Marcus. So man, thank you so much for jumping on here, Marcus, because I think, with all the things that's happening around online, it's all about making your own business. But then a lot of the times, having a career, we get belittled for having a career. And so I'd love to know, for the people who resonate with you, who want to learn more about what they need to do to get their career on track and to become transformational business leaders, where's the best place for them to find you, man, and learn more?
Oh, the easiest is go on my website, globalleadershipfoundry.com, and it's everything there.
All right. Thank you again. Once again, Marcus, you are amazing. Unfortunately, just dropped out there, but that's all cool. We'll fix it. And guys, of course, remember, if you learned a lot on this episode, if you felt that you really got heaps of value out of this chat with me and Marcus, then don't forget to keep sharing this out. Don't make this the world's best kept secret. Let's pass it out. Let's share it out to make sure that other people know about this, because it's important. So many people are starting careers, are having careers that they want. So let's really get out there and share it. And remember to head on over to iTunes to rate this podcast with 5 stars, so that we can actually share Marcus's message and all the other special guests who have been on here to share amazing messages in purpose, in wealth, in health, in relationships, so that you can forge your life your way. So guys, of course, remember to head on over to richardfood.com to grab the show notes and all the links so that you can find Marcus and all the others, listen to all the other episodes from the Forge Your Life podcast. So guys, this is the end of today's episode. I want to say thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. And most of all, remember to go out there, go live with love, guys, and go smash it. And I'll see you again on the next one.